Hello,
Hello,
how are you?
I'm very well, thank you. How are you?
I'm good. Firstly, thank you for this conversation, Abhishek, and also thank you for joining in my live with Mayank a couple of weeks
Yes,
back.
I just got the end of it, but
Yeah,
it
I
was
know, I know.
wonderful. It was so nice to hear the questions that you asked him.
Thank you so much. Firstly, congratulations on Breathe. I think it's a very
Thank
exciting
you.
series that Abindansha and Vikram and of course Mayank have put together. Now you're making your foray into the OTT space with Breathe. Was this an exciting proposition for you? And firstly, what are your thoughts also on the OTT platform and the rise of it, spectacular rise of it in India?
It was never a criteria for me. When I met Mayank and Vikram for the first time and they told me the basic plot design of what they were planning to do with Breathe into the Shadows, it was a instant yes from my end. So it never was a criteria that it was going to be on this platform. Um, I think it's a very, very exciting medium, and it's exciting because of the great content that's being produced out there. I mean, just Amazon Prime Video alone, if you see the kind of shows that they've come up with, have just been exceptional, especially from India. And
Right.
what's really nice is the focus is entirely on the content, nothing else. None of the other frills matter, and that's very exciting. That's very, very exciting for me. And I mean, I think people would be hard pressed. See, if you discuss cinema, the requirement is different. Our cinema is different. Our audience is different. There's a
Right.
huge distinction between Indian cinema and Western cinema. I don't think there's a big distinction in just to the naked eye between Indian streaming content and international streaming content. Um,
Okay.
the Indian cinema is catering to a different sensibility. We're catering to the Indian diaspora, which has particular requirements out of why they go to a movie hall to watch a movie. You don't, you're not faced with those requirements on a streaming platform, because the minute you upload to the internet, the world is your audience automatically. So you have to cater to a world audience. You have to speak a visual language which is acceptable and palatable to everybody. So the requirement is totally different. For example, to make it very basic, if I'm doing Breathe into the Shadows as a Hindi movie, for example, one of the requirements, and a wonderful requirement in my opinion, is we'd have to break into song and dance at some point of time.
Right.
If I do that on Amazon Prime Video as a Amazon Prime original web series, first of all, they might not pass it. Secondly, anybody outside the Indian diaspora is not going to understand the style of narrative. So the concentration is entirely, because of these attributes, is entirely on the content. It's got nothing to do with the kind of actor you are, what your history is. It doesn't matter the kind of scale you have. None of that matters, which are all points that you use in cinema in India to maybe aid you in luring the audience into the cinema hall. You are not tied down by those tropes in a streaming platform.
Right. When you were first offered the role in Breathe, what was so compelling about it that you said,
The story, just the setting, the story, the premise, and the screenplay. It's fantastically written, in my opinion. Bhavani Iyer, Vikram Tulli, Arshad Saeed, and Mayank have done a stupendous job. The twists and turns, and it's just wonderful. The detailing of the characters, the nuances were all so exciting for me.
But I read somewhere that you didn't watch season one completely. Is that
No,
right? Breathe season
yes,
one.
I only just saw it like last month in the lockdown.
Okay, okay. But when you signed it on, did you and Maddie have any kind of conversation? Because I know you
No,
guys
I
are
didn't.
friends.
I didn't speak to Maddie about it then. Subsequently, obviously, I mean, Maddie is a friend, and we have social conversations. But I never really discussed this with him. No,
Okay, okay. How was it working with Nithya Menon and Amit Saad, both who are very talented?
it was a revelation. Amit, I've known for a long time. I love Amit's intensity and presence that he's brought to this character. The character doesn't have many dialogues, but he has a presence about him, which is very intimidating. And to perform that without the aid of words is very demanding, and he's done it. He's done it wonderfully. Nithya, I can go on and on. I mean, I definitely feel, and I mean this as seriously as possible, as one of the most talented actors I've ever worked with. She's just an immense talent. She's so effortless. She's so natural that it's awe-inspiring. I mean, I lose count the amount of times I've actually just picked up the phone and called her when I was seeing an episode or dubbing and saying, Nithya, you're just fantastic. She's wonderful, wonderful. But we had other great actors. We had Sayami Kher, who's done such a
Right.
demanding role so early in her career, and she's handled it with such ease. I mean, I revel at the fact that how do these actors manage to do it without the kind of experience that maybe I've been privy to? And then we have two characters which are essayed by outstanding actors, Rishikesh Joshi and Shrikant Verma, which have done the characters of Prakash and Jayaprakash, which are Amit's assistants, who are just, I mean, they're my favorite track in the entire show. So I think you're very lucky when you get this kind of talent around you, you know, and it's wonderful to be on set just to see them perform.
But was preparing for this role any different than what you would have done for cinema? Because unlike a 3 hour film, this is episodic and you shoot much more than what is required, and then you condense it
I
into.
think the only difference is the amount of detailing that you go into, you actually get to perform. Let me elaborate. In cinema, you do a lot of prep, you do your character sketch, you go into a lot of detail, but a lot of those details you might not be able to use due to the lack of time. Over here, as opposed to 3 hours, I have 12 hours. So the smallest of detail, I can act upon that. That's the only difference.
Okay, and of course, your character would have an arc as well. I'm sure that is what we're all expecting. Was there anything at all you found challenging?
I think the balance, to balance off the time. You know, when you have time for something, Mayank also as a director allows you the freedom to take your time with the scene. He's not hurrying you up saying, come on, get on with it, get on with it. He allows you time to breathe. He allows the character to react as naturally as possible. That, for an actor, can very easily become an indulgent performance. So the biggest challenge is not to become indulgent in your performance. How can you still take your time realistically with the scene, but still not bore the viewer? That was a huge challenge.
Okay. Of course, the trailer is out. People are loving it. There are really high expectations come July 10th, when Breed Season 2 comes out. Are you nervous or are you excited? Are you
No, I'm
looking
very
for?
nervous. No, I'm very nervous. I mean, yeah,
Okay.
that's something sadly which never goes away. The nerves
Okay.
never go away. Yeah. I'm not
Okay.
enjoying this last week. I'm just waiting for Friday. Now that it's out there, then I know in my head there's nothing I can do to change the destiny of the show. So right now, yeah, I'm not a very happy person to be around.
So, also, congratulations on 20 years in the film industry.
Thank you.
Had a remarkable career. So, what are you looking forward to now in terms of roles, performances going forward?
I'm looking forward to doing a lot more work if
Hmm.
they'll have me. Um, yeah, I think nothing excites me more than a good role right now. So I'm looking forward to a lot more of that. I consider myself very lucky to be given the opportunity to work for 20 years. And I'm looking forward to doing a lot more work. But to do uh, Breathe and a Ludo, Big Bull and Bob Biswas and shoot for them all over 16 months, you just see the variety over there and you're lucky that you get to be in a time when material like this is being given to actors.
Okay. And are you looking forward to going back on sets once this whole pandemic and
Oh
everything goes?
yes, I'm itching. I'm itching. I'm really looking forward to it. Yeah, I mean, we're actors. We want to be in front of the camera. So I'm looking
Yeah.
forward to when we're allowed to, obviously with all safety in mind, allowed to get back to work.
Right. And I also read that you dubbed, you know, the dubbing which happened was during the pandemic. How did you manage that?
Well, we Amazon Prime Video is rolling out Breathe into the Shadows in over 200 countries in
Right.
several different languages. One of those languages is also English.
Right.
So as soon as the unlock started and they allowed offices to function at 10% capacity, we
Mm,
were allowed to get back to dubbing. So I actually go to the dubbing studio where there's only the operator and the director and myself,
mm.
and do the English dubbing of the show. So that's how we've been doing it.
Okay, super. And my last question to you, of course, you're very visible on social media. You connect a lot with the audience. You, in fact, tweeted at me when I tweeted about Breathe. Are you happy to stay connected with the audience? And
Absolutely, I enjoy it.
you
I
enjoy
think it's
having
important. It's
that.
important to have that kind of access to them.
Mm, okay, super. Thank you so much, Abhishek, for your
My
time.
pleasure. Thank you. I hope you enjoy the show and stay safe.
You too. Take care. Thank you so much.
Take care. Bye bye. Thank you for doing this.